Welcome back to the channel, Decoders. Good evening, good afternoon. Hope you guys are well. And today I have a very interesting decode. As you know, we're in a very interesting year. And so I'm going to kind of just show you guys what I'm seeing here. And but before I get started, would you guys let me know in the chat? Make sure the sound is clear. Can you guys give me a thumbs up if the sound is good? Hey, Square Peg, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Thanks for the thumbs up, Chester. Appreciate it. Looks like we got 10 in the chat. We'll give a few more minutes. Let some more people join. Got 25 in the chat. That's going to be a number I talk about here. 5 times 5, just like Square Peg just said, 5 times 5, 25. Thanks, Brian. Hope you're doing well. Mariana, welcome. Jared, also, welcome. So, yeah, don't want to wait too long because I know there's going to be a lot of people watching this on the replay. So I kind of just want to start right in, and then at the end, I'll do my normal chat. I'll do my normal chat talk. So we're going to just jump right in because, you know, I think a lot of people, including myself, when they're decoding and they're looking at these events, we forget a lot about the basics of this reality and the basics of the decoding. And I'm going to kind of go back to basics here. And I'm going to make an inference that everything is about time. The real enemy is time, right? We're all trying to have a better time or more time. And basically, our whole lives are governed by a calendar, which was created, and a clock, which was created by a group of people who have their name on the calendar. Hence why we have the Gregorian calendar named after Pope, right? Named after Pope Gregory, right? So we have a lot of stuff to talk about in reference to time. And I'm going to show you how the Super Bowl this year and how the Wrestlemania coming up later this year and how the events that I think might unfold this year are kind of hinting at some sort of, I don't want to say time travel, but I just want to say like a time event, or could you say the end of time or the transcendence of time? And time and death go hand in hand because time, at the end of time, you face death. And death, and funny enough, death and time also have matching gematria. And big shout out to my girlfriend in the chat, dropping the German. I see there's another person in the chat also who's speaking German. Guten Abend, everyone. That would be good evening in German. And much love to my girlfriend and everyone else in the chat. So anyways, so what does this all have to do with time? Why is time the governing factor of our reality? Everything is based around time. They say time is money. And I think sometimes we forget that everything really, the way we live our lives is about time, you know, and how we use our time. So I really want to start off this decode by prefacing that and showing and just reminding myself and everyone how important time is in our reality and just how much our lives are controlled by a calendar and a clock that's given to us by this reality, essentially, but it's given to us through a medium of a Catholic Church, right? So with that being said, let's jump in. And so we just had the Super Bowl, okay, on the Vatican's 95th birthday, okay? So that cannot be overstated. The Super Bowl this year was on the Vatican's 95th birthday, okay? The Vatican, responsible for the calendar, responsible for our society as we know it, essentially, the Roman Catholic Church. And I want you guys to notice this picture up here. This is a picture of St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, which I want you guys to notice the clock. Okay, this is one of the prominent features of the basilica. There's two clocks, or I believe, one on either side, and below it is a bell, right? And a bell is how we tell time. At the top of the hour, you usually hear the bell ring, right? Or for whom the bell tolls, right? That's also referencing death. But it's not a coincidence that the Vatican, the St. Peter's Basilica has the clock and the bell, just like Philadelphia is known as the bell, has the Liberty Bell, freedom from time, okay? Liberty means freedom. So when we no longer have to worry about time, we're free of time, okay? We transcend time, and we no longer have to always be under the authority of it. Of course, we're always going to have to die at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, there's always a time. There's a higher time, and then there's the time that they give us. There's the calendars, but then there's the stars in the sky, how they used to tell time, which was astrology essentially. So it's important to understand that there's God's time, and there's the what would it be called? Like the false time, the anti-time, which I guess would be the Catholic Church's calendar. So let's jump in. So this whole decode started off when I started to think about this guy right here, okay? Now, if you guys don't follow WWE wrestling, you don't need to know anything about wrestling to know, but I'm just going to explain to you who this guy is and how he ties to time and how he ties to the Catholic Church. He's currently the champion of WWE, the Universal Champion, okay? Get the word here, universal. And his name is Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns, okay? And the name should already tell you he's in one of the longest championship reigns in history, and he started his reign in 2020, okay? Around the time of the COVID, okay? And notice that he's wearing this lei because he calls himself the tribal chief, okay? Or the head of the table. He also refers to his empire or the bloodline, the Roman Empire, the bloodline. He's so coded, it's not even funny. But I'm going to show you how his title reign is connected with some sort of event signaling the end of time as we know it, some sort of event that's coming in the future that changes our time, that sends us down a whole different path from what we're on now, okay? And right now, his reign is still going. But I've been telling people that when his reign is over, it's the end of time as we know it, okay? And just notice that they posted Pope Francis on the front of Time magazine, Person of the Year, right? Pope Francis on Time magazine. And yeah, so I just wanted to point out who this guy was first, so before I get into it, so you guys understand what I'm talking about. So I told you guys that Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, became champion on August 30th, 2020, the year of the COVID, okay? And August 30th connected to the Super Bowl this year. And the reason I'm connecting it to the Super Bowl this year is because the Super Bowl was on the Vatican's 95th birthday, okay? So it was all about the Vatican. It was all about time because the Vatican is responsible for our time, okay? Now, notice that Roman Reigns' nickname is, you can see it on his shirt here, the Tribal Chief, okay? And the team that won the Super Bowl this year was the Chiefs, okay? And if you look it up, you'll even find that Pope Francis is referred to as the chief pastor of the church, the chief pastor. And this man Roman Reigns is the tribal chief, and the Chiefs are a dynasty in the NFL right now. So it's all about the chief, right? But I want you guys to notice the gematria of the tribal chief. It equals 126, okay? And this 126 is an important number because in the Bible, it mentions a time period called the time, times, and half a time, okay? So again, this is all about time, the time and the times and the half a time, okay? Which basically is 1 year plus 2 years plus a half of year, which gives you 3.5 years, okay? Which is equivalent to 1,260 days. And if you notice this number, 1,260, is very similar to the tribal chief equaling 126, 1,260, which is also 42 months, okay? The Vatican's birthday is on the 42nd day of the year, February 11th, okay? I'm going to get more into the 42 in a minute, but we're going to talk more about the 1,260 days right now, okay? So this is the number of days in the Bible that they give us, the time, the times, and half a time that the beast rules, right? And the woman will flee into the wilderness, okay? Now, the 1,260 is quite interesting because Roman reigns was 1,260 days reigning on the Super Bowl, okay? So you're telling me that the Roman chief, the Catholic representative, he's essentially representing the Vatican, was 1,260 days old on his reign, his title reign, on the Super Bowl where the Chiefs won. And his name is the tribal chief, and Pope Francis is referred to as chief pastor, okay? And notice that Super Bowl champion was crowned on the 1,260th day of Roman Reigns' reign, and Super Bowl champion in Sumerian equals 1,260. This again ties to the number of days in the Bible, the 1,260 days. And notice that Vatican clock, which is a counter, right? An hourglass. The Vatican clock that's on St. Peter's Basilica equals 1,260 in reverse Sumerian, okay? So this is a count. So we need to watch the count of Roman Reigns' title reign very closely because, again, it's perfectly aligned. What are the chances that the Chiefs win on his 1,260th day and Super Bowl champion equals 1,260, Vatican clock, and it was on the Vatican's birthday, okay? So the 1,260, I thought that was mind-blowing, guys. Exactly perfectly aligned with the 1,260 days in the Bible, okay? And in the Bible, it refers to it as time, times, and half a time, okay? So they're trying to get you to think about the word time, times, and half a time. So the next thing you need to know about the 1,260 is that in the Bible, in Revelation 12:6, again, you have the 126, guys, just like the tribal chief equals 126. It says, "And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days, or 1,260 days." Okay? So it's 1,260 days, Roman reigns on the Super Bowl 58 on the Vatican's birthday, okay? This is telling us where we are in the counter, in the clock, right? Again, Vatican clock equals 1,260. And remember, Taylor Swift was wearing the necklace with the clock, okay? And what are the chances that she's wearing the clock? And I'm connecting this to the Vatican clock, and it was on the Vatican's birthday, okay? And it's all about this 1,260 days because, again, Roman reigns in the 1,260. And I just couldn't believe, guys, that Super Bowl champion equals 1,260. And on his 1,260 day, the Super Bowl champion was crowned. Okay. And it was the chief, just like he's the chief. So I just wanted to point out here that recently he's been wearing this shirt when he comes out to the ring. It says levels above. Levels above. Okay. And I told you that in some places you can find that Pope Francis is known as the chief pastor, like he's known as the tribal chief. Anyway, the chief pastor just happens to equal in 3 ciphers the words levels above. Okay, and again, he's referencing that Pope Francis is the chief pastor, and he's levels above. He is the chief pastor of the Catholic Church. Okay. Notice that Illuminati also equals 120, and the Jesuit order equals 177, similar to the gematria of levels above and chief pastor. Now, remember, the Jesuit order is part of the Roman Catholic Church, and they founded the Illuminati. A Jesuit founded the Illuminati. Okay, so they're all connected. They're all tied to this. I'm not leaving out any of these secret societies or whatever you want to call them. But I just want to point out this. Okay, Roman Reigns' nickname is head of the table. And the Pope is serving as the head of state, okay? And this reminds me of the head of the table, like Jesus is the head of the table in the Jesus picture, right? Or he's the center of the table. And just notice that just recently, The Rock, who's also a wrestler, the cousin of Roman Reigns, he came back on the scene, okay? And The Rock, okay, his father was High Chief, okay? High Chief Peter Maivia, okay? So what are the chances that The Rock, and look at where Peter gets his name from. Okay, first of all, this is the definition of a pope. From a Catholic viewpoint, the primacy of a bishop of Rome is largely derived from his role as apostolic successor to Saint Peter, to whom primacy was conferred by Jesus, who gave Peter the keys to heaven and the powers of binding and loosing, naming him as the rock upon which the church would be built. The current pope is Pope Francis, okay? So Pope Francis is the original pope was the rock, okay? And that's Peter, okay? So what are the chances that the rock, the wrestler, his great-grandfather was High Chief Peter Maivia, okay? And again, Peter means rock. And now this guy's name is The Rock, all right? And again, these guys are cousin. Roman Reigns and The Rock, they're cousins, okay? Now, this is where we get into the real number I want to point out here, okay? Again, I told you that the original pope was Peter, okay? And he was the rock which Jesus said he would build his church on. And what I'm talking about in this video is that time is the Antichrist. Time itself is the rock which Jesus built his church on, okay? And I'm going to show you why I believe that in a minute. But time is what we're all fighting against, okay? And death is what we're all waiting for, okay? So I want you guys to notice this. Because the rock, okay, is Roman Reigns' cousin, notice that rock, Roman, time, church, Jesus, Roman Reigns, and St. Peter's Basilica, which is this picture right here, guys, with the clock on it, all equals 61, okay? Jesus, church, time, rock, Roman Reigns, St. Peter's Basilica, okay? Also, notice that Christmas equals 61, cornerstone, the chief cornerstone, 61, the Grim Reaper, who is responsible for time and death, like Saturn, keeper of time, 61, and Christian, 61. What are the chances that all these things equal 61? Okay? And again, I just told you that the whole story playing out right now on the world stage is The Rock and Roman Reigns, and they both equal 61. The word Roman equals 61. And it all connects back to the clock, the time, okay? And that's why Pope Francis is born during Saturnalia, because Saturn is the god of time, and Pope Francis is born, and they worship Saturnalia, and that's all about worshiping Saturn, which is the god of time. And again, the Saturnian order, it's all connected to time, and the Grim Reaper is the symbol of Saturn, 61, like the keeper of time, 61, okay? So the cornerstone with which our reality is built upon is time. In fact, everything I do on my channel is a measurement of time. Everything that you guys do every day is you wait for times. You have a plan every day. You wake up and you do something specifically at this time. And you go and you do this at this time. And you have a job to be at this time. Again, you cannot escape the cornerstone of our reality, which is time. Okay, I'm trying to really beat that point down and let you guys know that that's what this is all about. Okay? No one can beat time. Look at all the people on the world stage who are aging so fast. Just look at all the actors that I keep seeing. They're all aging, okay? So again, every single one of us succumbs to time and death. So it's interesting that The Rock, the wrestler, his great-grandfather was Peter, which means rock, and that was the rock was the church that Jesus built his church on, Peter. And then a few days before the Super Bowl, The Rock arrived in Vegas to confront Roman Reigns, his cousin, and he unveiled the bloodline family tree. And this is a representative of the Roman bloodline, right? And at the very top of this bloodline is The Rock's great-grandfather and Roman's great-grandfather. And they made a blood oath, okay? So anyways, notice that what I'm saying to you is not so far-fetched, considering that time is a direct match in all ciphers to rock, okay? So what are the chances that Jesus builds his church on a rock, which is a direct match to time? So what they're really telling you is Jesus built this reality, God built this reality on time, okay? And I'm not necessarily talking about the Vatican's time. I'm talking about the time that came before. The sun and the moon and the stars in the sky is how we used to tell time. And in fact, it's how we still tell time. However, we're doing it through the Vatican's, through the Catholic Church. Okay? So, again, what are the chances that rock and time direct match? Okay? And again, The Rock, his great-grandfather was Peter, which means rock. And remember, I did a video about this, but The Rock came back, and the bloodline, these two are The Rock and Roman Reigns, and he slapped Cody Rhodes. Now, this is the third character to bring into this, Cody Rhodes, okay? And just look at the matching gematria of time, Rock, Cody, and Roman. These are the three characters that are involved in this big WrestleMania coming up one day before the eclipse, okay? Remember, the eclipse is on April 8th. WrestleMania featuring Roman and Cody is one day before on 4/7, April 7th. Okay? The Rock, so Cody insulted the bloodline, the Roman Reigns and The Rock's bloodline, and then The Rock slapped Cody Rhodes, similar to how Will Smith, who's from Philadelphia, smacked Chris Rock a few years back. And again, this all ties to Philadelphia because this WrestleMania is in Philadelphia. And I'm going to show you how that all connects to the numbers as well. But anyways, what are the chances that all three of these characters, their first names or their main names, Cody, Rock, and Roman, all equal 61 and 25? And just notice the overlap here, guys. Lots of overlap in Roman, Rock, and Cody. Okay? So they're trying to get you, just by the gematria itself, they're trying to show you what the main theme of this year is, okay? So again, a lot to talk about here, but again, I keep going back to the fact that it's all related to time, okay? Because right now we're counting how many days Roman Reigns has been champion, okay? Yeah, if you guys would please hit the like button if you're just getting in or if you're still in, I would really appreciate that. Thank you, guys. So anyways, I told you that The Rock is Peter, and St. Peter's Basilica has the clock and the bell, okay? And Philadelphia has the bell, okay? Notice the crack in the bell. Now, what I think this is symbolizing is a crack in time, guys. Basically, the events coming in this world are about ready to reset time or put a crack in time, right? And notice that the crack on the Liberty Bell is very prevalent here. And then, of course, the St. Peter's Basilica has the clock with the bell, okay? And I keep always thinking of the song by Metallica, For Whom the Bell Tolls, right? And that just I keep thinking about that. I didn't put that in this decode, but I just keep thinking about For Whom the Bell Tolls, which is every time I think of a bell, right? And just notice, again, Jesus built his church on a rock, and rock equals 61, church equals 61, Roman equals 61, time, Cody, who's going to be facing Roman at the Wrestlemania with the bell, okay? And just notice, Philadelphia, where this is happening, equals 61, like Roman Reigns, like St. Peter's Basilica, which again has the bell, okay? So again, this is the only number that's showing up. I mean, there's other numbers, but this number was all I really needed to really get the point across, okay? All right, what are the chances that all these things equal 61? They're all tied to the church and to the calendar, to time, to Roman reigns, okay? And yeah, there's so much more to talk about, but I just wanted to point specifically to this number, okay? And so that's not even it. There's another number that's important here, okay? And that's the 47, okay? Again, WrestleMania in Liberty Bell City is on 4/7, April 7th. And just notice that Vatican equals 47. Like the real name of Roman Reigns, he's known as Joseph Anawahi, which equals 47. Like government, like White House, okay? So 47, okay? And Cody on the other side of the match also equals 47, just like The Rock slapped Cody, and Cody is also connecting to the crack in time. Cody is the American nightmare, the one coming to put a crack in the Roman Empire, okay? So all these 47s, and remember the Super Bowl in which Roman Reigns was lined up perfectly, okay, was on the Vatican's birthday, and the Vatican's birthday is 2/11, and 2/11 is the 47th prime. And remember, that also connects to the 42, which I'll talk a little bit about in a minute. But again, the 47's on both sides on 4/7, okay? And remember, in the history of Jesus, it says that Jesus gave Peter the keys of heaven. Remember how Alicia Keys was performing at the Super Bowl, and you had Usher, which means doorman, okay? He was performing, and then he had a girl named Alicia Keys, okay? So we've had a lot of key and door symbolism, but it was Jesus who gave Peter the keys of heaven and the powers to binding and loosing, naming him as the rock upon which the church would be built. Okay? And Philadelphia in the book of Revelation is known to, in the chapter talking about the church of Philadelphia, it says the key of David, okay, which is Christ, the bloodline of Christ, right? And again, you have this key connection, and you have Philadelphia being the site of WrestleMania, and you have the Vatican key, okay? They have the keys right on, and look at they're in a shape of an X, guys. Notice that we're in the year of the X, and, you know, the Vatican key is in that shape, right? So it's something to really look at, because you're going to see a lot of key symbolism. That's exactly why you had Alicia Keys at the Super Bowl, okay? And yeah, I'm going to get to that in a minute, how the Super Bowl had 47 points, okay? But I want to really point out one thing here about what's going on with this number 61. Remember, I told you a lot about the 61s back here, how everything equals 61. Philadelphia, Roman Reigns, Roman, Cody, time, rock, church, you know, Roman Reigns, all equals 61. Keeper of time, 61. Cornerstone, Grim Reaper, Christmas, Christian, all 61. All right, so what is it with this 61? Well, 61 is the 18th prime number, okay? So 61 breaks down to the 18th prime number. The 18th letter in the alphabet is R, okay? And R is the letter that you're going to see quite often in all these names, okay? Roman Reigns, RR. And the guy he's facing at WrestleMania is Rhodes, like all roads lead to Rome with the R. And The Rock which also starts with R, slapped Cody Rhodes. Okay, all roads lead to Rome. R. R equals the 18th letter. 61 is the 18th prime, which I believe is why you keep seeing all these 61s connected. If you guys missed it, I already connected all the 61s. But again, all roads lead to Rome. And now you have Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns for the second year in a row. Okay. And again, I just wanted to point out just how significant the letter R is, because why do you think everything starts with an R here? Rhodes, Rock, Rhodes, Roman, all this stuff. So, yeah. And remember, the story of Rome was founded by Romulus and Remus, another RR, just like Roman Reigns. And just notice that if you type Romulus and Remus, which is what they titled these twins that founded Rome, that equals 61 again, guys. Just like 61 is the 18th prime and R is the 18th letter, and Roman Reigns equals Romulus and Remus. So you don't think that this Roman Reigns is representing the twins who founded Rome, Romulus and Remus? And look at this. Roman Reigns is a Gemini, okay? And of course, the Gemini is the twins, like Trump is a Gemini. I'm also a Gemini. And the twins, right? And just look at this story. How is this even real? First of all, Roman Reigns is a Gemini, which means twins. And he has the twin letters, the Roman Reigns, RR, okay? And he represents the twins who founded Rome, Romulus and Remus. And he has two sets of twins, guys. He had one set of twins, and then in 2020, he had his second set of twins, okay? How many people have two sets of twins? Do you guys get the symbolism here? He had to have two sets of twins because it's all about the twins. So you have to have a twins, okay? You have to have twin sets of twins. And that's all connected. And here he is holding his supposed twins, right? And again, he's a Gemini, which is a twin. I mean, come on. It's too perfect. I mean, what are the chances of that? That's how I know that this is probably a story. This may not even be his kids, but if they are, it's still, this matrix has its amazing ways. But who knows that that's even he really has two sets of twins. But another thing he has is the two wrestlers that he fought a lot of his career with are his twin cousins. So not only does he have two sets of twin children, he has a set of twin cousins who fight alongside of him in the bloodline. And notice that his twin cousins, their real names are Joshua and Jonathan. And this once again goes back to the 61 because Joshua is another name for Jesus. Yeshua in Hebrew is related to Joshua. So Joshua equals Jesus and Jonathan equals John. Remember, John is the one who baptized Jesus. John is a huge name in the Bible. And what are the chances? John and Jesus also both equals 61. Okay. So again, everything equals 61. And again, this is his twin cousins, Joshua, Jesus, and John. Okay. So I told you before that Roman Reigns became the Universal Champion on August 30th, 2020. Okay. That was exactly 91 years and 201 days after the Vatican's birth. Okay. And this 1929 year is very important. This was the year of the Great Depression started, essentially. This was the year of the financial collapse. Okay. 1929. The Vatican founded in the year of the financial collapse, right? And again, from the day the Vatican was founded to the Roman Reigns winning his universal title, which he still holds to this day, was 91 years and 201 days. And this 201 is a number I always talk about. Everyone in the community, Joseph Aquaviva, Zach Hubbard, everyone talks about the 201. Why? Because Pope Francis lives in Suite 201 at the Vatican. His name equals 201, and he's the first Jesuit Pope. And the Jesuit order equals 201. The founder of the Jesuits, Ignatius of Loyola, equals 201. The Domus Sanctae Martyr, which is the suite that Pope Francis lives in, that equals 201. That's Suite 201. So what are the chances that Roman Reigns wins the championship 201 days after the Vatican. Okay. Not a coincidence. And yeah, it's just not, there's so much more to talk about here, but I just, the 201s, we all know, most of you guys know about that number by now, if you guys have been watching anyone in the community at all. Hey, Joseph, welcome to the chat. Hope you're doing well, brother. And yeah, I'll get to you guys' comments in a minute. So again, I told you that on the Super Bowl, Roman Reigns was 1,260 days reigning, like the 1,260 days or the 42 months in the book of Revelation, okay? And again, that was on the Vatican's birthday. Vatican clock equals 1,260. So they were telling us to count the number of days that Roman had been reigning. The Super Bowl champion equals 1,260. It was crowned on the 1,260th day of Roman's reign, okay? So I already talked about that, but what about the other crazy connection? So this is where I'm looking ahead a bit, okay? Because 229 this year is a huge day connected to Roman's reign, okay? So if in the Bible there's 1,260 days, however, because the calendars are different, because the Jewish calendar was only a 360-day calendar, you have to understand that 1,260 days on our calendar is not 42 months, but the beast reigns for 42 months. Remember, 1,260 days, just like Roman reigned for 1,260 days on the Super Bowl. But what about 42 months? Because 1,260 days on our calendar is not 42 months. It's 41 months and 13 days around. 42 months after Roman's reign, okay, is on 229, guys. And the reason that this is an interesting day is because 229 is essentially the leap day. It's the one day of the year that's added to the year in a leap year, okay? So Roman reigns will be 42 months. And again, we have to remember, this is the 42 months. Roman represents the reign of the beast, the Vatican. 42 months, and we land on this day. So what's going to go down after this day, guys? What is going to happen on 229, the leap day? Okay. And notice that on our calendar, 42 months is 1,278 days. Okay. It's not 1,260 days like on the Jewish calendar. So what's interesting about the 1,278 is notice that 42 months represents the Vatican clock, which equals 42. Okay. And remember, the Vatican was founded on the 42nd day of the year, February 11th. Okay. So because 42 months is 1,278 days, notice that in French, remember, French is where the Jesuit order was founded, right? The Jesuit order, the military order of the Catholic Church, they're French, okay? And the Paris Olympics this year is, of course, in France, okay? And notice that in French, the word for Vatican clock is horloge du Vatican. I don't know how to say that. But just notice the gematria of horloge du Vatican. It equals 1,278. Like the English for that word equals 42. So 42 months is 1,278 days. And the Vatican clock, which is on St. Peter's Basilica, which is tied to Roman reigns, I already talked about that, is perfectly connected with this 229 date. Okay? Again, this is the 42-month reign of Roman reigns. So we will see what starts to go down after this date. I'm not saying something big happens specifically on this day, but it's interesting to see what happens once Roman reigns hits the 42 months. Okay. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot to think about here. The Super Bowl parade. Yeah, Joseph is saying Super Bowl parade equals 229. Yeah. And 229 is the 50th prime number. And there's a lot to talk about with the 50, but Chiefs equals 50. Okay. Yeah, just so you guys know, 229 is a date I'm watching for. Okay. But let's just see even more how this was all scripted with Roman Reigns, the Pope, Peter, the Rock. Okay. Remember, St. Peter has multiple different names. He was known as Simon. He was known as Cephas, and his main name means rock. Okay, so look at the gematria of Simon, Cephas, and rock. They all equal 25. And Simon and Cephas was the first pope, which equals 25. And the Vatican equals 25. And time equals 25. And Roman, okay, all equal 25. Okay, the chiefs, just like Roman Reigns is the tribal chief, they scored 25 points on the Vatican's birthday at the Super Bowl. Okay, so again, let me just show you how perfectly this was scripted. Okay, 25 points for the chiefs, just like Pope Francis is known as the chief pastor of the church, and Roman Reigns is the tribal chief. 25 points, and the other team, San Francisco, like Francis. Okay, this was all about the Vatican and Pope Francis. San Francisco scored 22 points. So that means 25 plus 22 is 47. And these are the two numbers. So the winning score was 25. The total was 47. That means that the two numbers that I've been talking about this whole decode, besides the 61, are perfectly scripted why this was the final score, guys. 25 is Pope, is Simon, is Cephas, is Vatican, is time, is Roman. And 25 is Rock, Vatican, John, White House, government. Roman Reigns' real name is Joe Anawahi, 47. And why it's Super Bowl 58, guys? Because the Vatican controls time, right? We're on their calendar, okay? Super Bowl 58. Well, why? Because we're on the Gregorian calendar, named after the Pope. Gregorian equals 58. Calendar equals 58. So why was there a 47-point total with a 25 winning score on the 58th Super Bowl? Because it was all connected to time, guys. The time, and half a times, okay? So, again, I started out this video by saying that the real enemy is time, okay? And the Catholic Church uses time against us, okay? We're on their clock, right? We're on their time. But really, we should be on God's time, on the higher power, right? Which they kind of corrupted, right? So it's not that they don't use it, because whatever was already made was already perfect, but they've hijacked it, okay? So again, time is the real enemy. Time is the one thing we're all trying to get away from, or to plan our lives around, okay? And one last thing in my slides here that I found interesting was notice that the definition of time, the first thing you see, and when you type in the time definition on Google, this is the definition they give you: the indefinite continued progress of existence and events in past, present, and future regarded as a whole. Okay? And just notice the gematria of that whole definition equals 1044, which if you drop the 0 is 144. In Jewish or Latin gematria, time equals 144, Jesuit order 144. And 144 is also connected to time on a clock, because you have time is connected to the 144, right? 12 times 12 is 144. Jesus had 12 disciples, right? And 12 plus 12 is 24. We have 24 hours in a day, okay? 144 minutes is 2 hours and 24 minutes, which the year we're in right now is 224. So 144 minutes is connected to this year, because again, 2 hours and 24 minutes is 144 minutes. Okay. But what are the chances that the definition they give us on the top page of Google equals 1044, which goes right back to the 144, which is also a biblical number, the 144,000. Okay. And I'm going to make a connection here that you guys might not notice at first. But look, past, present, future. The definition of time is the indefinite continued progress of existence and events based on the past, the present, and the future. That's a Trinity, okay? The Trinity, right? Everything in our world is based off of Trinities. The past, the present, the future. The height, the width, the depth, okay? The Trinity. So what I'm saying here is the past is the Father, okay? The present is the Son, and the future is the Holy Spirit, okay? The past, the present, and the future. Because the Holy Spirit gives us hope for the future. The Son keeps us in the present, because we're always supposed to be sitting with Jesus in the present with the Son. And we're always supposed to be remembering the Father, okay? You guys understand this? This is big. If you look at it this way, the Trinity here is connected to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And again, that's time. But time is made up of three again. So what do you guys think? Is the past the Father? Because we build our future based off, we build our present based off of our past, okay? And we build our future based off of a hope for the future, okay? So again, it seems that that is what the real, why there's always threes. And remember, there's been a lot of symbolism with the number 3, okay? So again, I don't think a lot of people realize that when they think about the past, the present, and the future, you can also apply it to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, okay? Because that's how I see it. Whenever I'm looking at the future, I'm thinking with a hope, okay? And hope is always about a spirit, right? You're hoping for a good future, okay? But in the present, you have to live in the present. You can't live anywhere else other than the present. So you always have to live with the Son, with Jesus, okay? You have to live with Jesus, a close connection with the present moment, okay? And you always have to remember the Father, just like Jesus always said, you know, remember the Father, okay? And we are one. The past, present, and future are one whole. It even says it in the definition of time. The past, the present, and the future are regarded as a whole, just like the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are regarded as a whole, okay? And maybe that's why they also use the 144 as completion in the Bible, because that's also connected to time, okay? But anyway, I just wanted to point up that point. And you could also look at it, you know, in other ways too, you know, because you also have the Trinity in death. You know, I also want to point out that Trinity equals 47, just like I brought up a lot of 47s. Hold on a second here. So again, time equals 47, okay? And the Trinity equals 47. And of course, as I've already talked about, you know, Roman 47, all the 47s I already talked about, it connects perfectly with what I already said. So let's see. I'm going to go to the chat for a minute, see what you guys are saying. Yeah, that's an interesting point. If you rearrange the word present, it becomes serpent. Very interesting. But I mean, what other option do we have other than to be present? We can't put too much focus into the future or into the past. So, considering that we're on the topic, I want to go back and do a bit of a recap, and then I'm going to show a few more other things before I end this. So again, I talked about how the Vatican has the Vatican clock, and it has the bell for whom the bell tolls, right? How Roman Reigns' championship reign was perfectly synced with the chiefs, because Roman Reigns is known as the tribal chief, and the Pope is known as the chief pastor. And how the 1260 days lines up in the Revelation 12:6, right? 12:6, and you get 1260 days, right? What a joke. And yeah, and Vatican clock equals 1260, Super Bowl champion 1260. Oh, thank you for the gifted memberships, True Norther. I appreciate that. So now I have 4 new members. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And so then I talked about how Roman Reigns' shirt is connected to chief pastor, it's connected to the Jesuit order, to the Illuminati, and how the rock, which is Roman Reigns' cousin, is a representation of Peter or the Pope, because Peter was the first pope. And then I talked about the 61s and how everything pretty much equals 61. Roman reigns, St. Peter's Basilica, Jesus, time, rock, Roman, church, Christian, Christmas, cornerstone, keeper of time, all equals 61. And again, Jesus built his church. This reality is built on time. Okay, so Jesus building his church on the rock, which is Peter, and the rock gives us our time, our calendar, right? So time and rock are a direct match in all 4 ciphers. And then I talked about how the Wrestlemania match between Roman and Cody is all tied once again with almost perfect gematria. And you have the rock slapping Cody. And Philadelphia is the Liberty Bell city, which connects to the time, connects to the Church of Philadelphia. Philadelphia equals 61, like Roman reigns, like all the other 61s. And the 4-7, okay, guys? Cody equals 47. The Vatican found on 211, the 47th prime. The Vatican has the keys, which connects to the Church of Philadelphia. Roman reigns is his real name that he's known by is Joe Anawahi, which equals 47, like Vatican. And of course, White House and government equals 47. President equals 47. Authority equals 47. Time is our authority, right? So time equals 47, just like authority. Yeah, and just the keys to heaven. You know how Jesus gave Peter the keys to heaven, and the keys are on the flag of the Vatican, and the key of David is given to the Church of Philadelphia. Philadelphia is America's city. America is modern-day Rome. Talked about how R is all over this because RR, Roman reigns. R is the 18th letter. 61 is the 18th prime. All roads lead to Rome, right? And then Roman reigns has twins, and his name is the RR, like twin R's. And Romulus and Remus founded Rome, twin R's again. He has 2 sets of twins, does Roman reigns. He also has 2 sets of twin cousins who wrestle with him. Yeah, and he was born 91 years, 201 days after the Vatican, okay? 201 is the big Pope Francis number, the big Jesuit number. Yeah, that's about it, guys. So one last thing I want to point out here is, you know how in the book of Revelation it talks about how Jesus, his reign, right? His 1,000 day. Let me see if I can just pull it up here, because I don't know it. I don't know it word for word, but 1,000 year reign. Because I just wanted to really connect this reign with Roman reigns also. So again, Roman reigns being currently the reigning champion, and I just wanted to point out how he's tied with Jesus here with the reign. Okay, so I want you guys to notice that when Roman Reigns won his championship from the Beast, okay, so the guy that he beat to become the 146th champion. Okay, so let me just show you how perfectly scripted this is. Roman Reigns won his championship to become the 146th WWE champion. Okay, and 146 is not just some normal number, because Jesus Christ equals 146. Okay. So what are the chances that Roman Reigns becomes the 146th champion? Jesus Christ equals 146. And the guy that he beat to become that was the 145th champion, the Brock Lesnar, the Beast. Brock Lesnar is known as the Beast, okay, which also equals 47. Beast equals 47. Vatican equals 47, okay? And what are the chances that Roman Reigns becomes the 146th champion, like Jesus equals 146, and he beats the Beast, who was the 145th champion? Now, why is that important? Because Catholic equals 145, okay? So what they're telling us here is, again, Jesus comes and beats the Catholic Church, essentially, right? Because Jesus equals 146, Catholic equals 145, and Roman Reigns became the 146th champion, beating the 145th champion, okay? Catholic 145, Jesus Christ 146. And the reign of the beast Brock Lesnar was 43 days. So why is that important? Because Jesus Christ also equals 43 in gematria, 43, okay? So again, and now Roman Reigns has not lost the championship since that day, okay? He has two different titles, but basically his reign is actually 12,000, like I showed you in the beginning of the slide. His reign is actually over 1,260 days since he won the Universal title. But if you go to the other title where he unified the titles with the Beast, he's 686 plus days. So he's almost at 700 days on this championship. And the reason that could be important is because 700 is like a completion, right? Just like Vatican equals 70. See how Vatican equals 70? And you know how the Queen died in her 70th year jubilee, right? 70 is like completion, guys, because 7 is the seventh day, right? So 7 or 70 or 700 represents that completion, okay? So Roman Reigns, he'll be on his 700th day. On April 3rd, he won this. So let me go back and just see what that equals here. April 3rd, 2022. Notice that he won the title on the 93rd day of the year. Saturn equals 93. It's connected to time, which is Saturn. But if we go to our current time and we measure, okay, so 700 days of Roman Reigns' reign will be on 3/3. How about that? So 700 days will be on 3/3 this year. And yeah. So that's another thing to keep in mind. From his world title reign, he'll be 700 days, which is, again, completion. So I'm keeping an eye on all these reigns because I think this is a countdown, guys. This is a clock. This is a way to tell how things are happening. Again, the Super Bowl was perfectly aligned with the reign of Roman, okay? So definitely something to look at here. And it's definitely going to be connected to the 1,000-year reign in the Bible, right? So I think there's going to be a part 2 of this video going more into that whole connection. But so now the one last thing I want to bring up here, I know it's getting to be a lot, but there's this movie called In Time, okay? And I made this whole connection with time in this video. And this movie is very interesting because, well, first of all, it came out, okay, I want you guys to understand why Kamala Harris is so important here. This movie called In Time came out on 10/20/2011, okay? Kamala Harris was born on 10/20/1964, okay? So the movie In Time came out on Kamala Harris's 47th birthday. And notice that it came out on 61 date numerology, okay? So pay attention to this, guys. Kamala Harris on her 47th birthday, and there's a movie called In Time, which is all about the word time, right? Well, what is the gematria of the word time? Again, the word time equals 47 and 61. The movie In Time came out on Kamala's 47th birthday. President equals 47. White House 47. 61 date numerology was the day, okay? 61 date numerology, like time equals 61, okay? So perfectly scripted with time. And again, the title of the movie is In Time, right? And notice the girl on the front. But the other release date of this movie was also October 28th, which we know that's also a big day. That's Bill Gates' birthday. That's the day Matthew Perry died last year. It's the day that Elvis got the polio vaccine back in 1956. But yeah, but anyway, what is the chance? I mean, just look how they use the gematria, guys. Look at the plot of this movie. In 2169, people are genetically engineered to stop aging on their 25th birthdays. Okay? Why the 25th birthday? Do you guys know why? Do you guys remember why they would have this movie about time be that these people are genetically engineered to stop aging when they turn 25? Why 25? Well, because I just showed you all the 25s, guys, in my presentation. Okay. Vatican, 25. Why do they stop aging when they turn 25? Because time equals 25, and they stop aging when they turn 25. But they're only giving one free year to live after they turn 25, and everyone is on a timer on their forearm that shows their remaining time. When it reaches 0, the person times out or instantly dies. I don't know about you, but this reminds me of maybe a little something something in the you know what's in the I don't want to say it. They instantly time out when they reach a certain thing. I mean, that's interesting. But again, the whole number here is they get 25 years and then they stop aging. And then what's the gematria of time? It equals 25. And again, this 25 is woven throughout all of this, right? Vatican equals 25. Death equals 25. Roman, Biden. You're like your Biden time, right? Biden is Biden time, because that's what you say in English when you're making time. You're biding time. Time equals 25. Rock, 25. The original name for Peter, the rock, was Simon, which equals 25. His other name was Cephas, which equals 25. Trump also equals 25. The Kansas City Chiefs mascot, KC Wolf, equals 25. The words on the board, the chalkboard in iPet Goat, Evolton, which is also no love. Somebody pointed out this to me. Or is it not love? The word Evolton, which is on the board in iPet Goat, it's supposed to be evolution, but it says Evolton because it's not completely filled in. But yeah, that equals 25, right? Time, door, earth, devil also equals 25. Yeah, there's so many 25s. And it ties to Trump. It ties to Biden because they're both equal 25 in the same cipher as Vatican. Okay, so who's really running Trump and Biden, right? It's the Vatican. And yeah, so I just wanted to point out, why would this movie... Oh, look, the number 3 also equals 25. Remember, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl with 25 points, and they won by 3 points when Patrick Mahomes threw a 3-yard TD pass with 3 seconds left to win his 3rd championship and his 3rd MVP. And then 3 days later, there was a shooting, and his father had just been arrested for 3 DUIs, and 3 Chiefs fans died a few weeks before the Super Bowl, and the word 3 equals 25 as well, okay? So all connected to the 25, I believe, because the word 3. And again, that's why they chose, these people to be timed out on their 20. They get 25 years, right? Technically, they get 26 years because they get an extra free year. But if they don't have money, then they die, right? So they got to pay to live, essentially. And this has Justin Timberlake in it. Remember, Justin Timberlake also performed at the Super Bowl halftime show a few years ago. But look at the mark on his forearm. I mean, come on now. In October 28th, right, which is the day of you-know-whose birthday, and he's all about the you-know-what, So, there's the mark. There's the mark, in time. And then again, well, I don't know how this is going to play out, but we'll see. And again, I don't think it's a coincidence, guys, that this came out on Kamala Harris's 47th birthday. I really don't. Because time equals 47. And Kamala Harris could be the 47th president, guys. And by the way, I have a Kamala Harris decode in the wings. Kamala Harris was on the front page of CNN yesterday. They were saying how Kamala Harris is looking to break through the Biden bubble. Okay. And it was hinting at her breaking through to president, right? But again, she would be the 47th president. And yeah. So we will see. We'll see how it plays out. I haven't looked into Justin Timberlake, but he's known as the Prince of Pop. I wonder what that equals. Hold on a second. Prince of Pop. Thought it equaled Donald Trump there for a minute. Oh, Prince of Pop equals 47. Interesting. So as I was talking about 47, there's another one for you. Thank you guys so much for becoming. There's a lot of people becoming members today, and the problem is that I don't have access to the YouTube money. So if there's anyone else that would like to support the channel, the link at the top of the chat right now is my link that you can donate to, so I can have instant access, because Google does not allow me to have my money. I have a lot of money sitting there that I can't even access. So again, if you guys want to support the channel right now, so I can actually have access to the money, yeah, that link at the top of the chat is the one you want to donate to. But thank you guys either way for being subscribers. I mean, I'll eventually have access to that money. It's just I don't have it right now. So, but I appreciate it either way. You guys are much appreciated. So yeah, let's just see what plays out, guys. I'm really thinking that there's going to be more events this year that are pointing to a crack in time, just like this Wrestlemania is happening one day before the eclipse. Remember, guys, everything is really about that eclipse. And this match that's going to be taking place one day before. And the cracks are already showing. And you know how, CERN is supposedly trying to crack the universe and access dark matter. And, there's always symbolism everywhere for this cracking time and time travel and all this other stuff. So we will see what the events are, but yeah, it's interesting. They call Justin Timberlake the Prince of Pop, but I think I always thought Prince was kind of the Prince of Pop, or he's the Prince of, I don't know what he is, but his name was Prince. So so anyone in the chat got anything to add to this? I'm sorry I missed a lot of your comments. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sojourn. Thank you, Villain. Vil, I don't know how to say your name, but it looks like Villain. Jamie White, thank you also. Thank you, Square Peg, who I also saw in the chat earlier. Thank you, Visionary Vet. Thank you, Shy. Appreciate you as well. Clarissa, thank you. Anyone got anything to add here before I get off? Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, XX. Thank you, Native Michigan. Much love to you all. Thank you, Joseph Aquaviva. He was in the chat earlier. Yeah, I think that's everyone, most everyone. And all the other people in the chat who are just lurking there and not saying anything. Thank you guys also. Because I know there's a lot of you in the chat that haven't even said anything. So, but all of you guys too, much love. Visionary Vet says, do you think we could compare the 4-7 wrestling event to the Japanese wrestling event? Which Japanese wrestling event are you talking about? I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Thank you guys so much for coming along. Appreciate you guys. And I'm going to get off here because I don't want to make the video too long. And Much love to you all. Thank you guys for watching. And I mean, I'm trying to put out some good quality decodes for you guys. So there might be a few days in between decodes. It took me a few days to put this together, but I want these decodes to really be like thorough and quality. And oh yeah, that's a good point. I actually forgot to mention that. Crypto Cabbage, I think that's how you say your name. He's saying that Cody Rhodes' father is actually very important to this code as well. And just in case you guys don't know who Cody Rhodes' father is, his father was named Dusty Rhodes. Okay. And the reason this makes me again think of time is because in the Bible, it also says, from dust we came and to dust we'll go, right? So this guy's father, Cody Rhodes' father, was named Dusty, right? And it'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. And Dusty Rhodes was known as the American Dream. So the American Dream is turning into the American Nightmare because Cody Rhodes, his nickname is the American Nightmare, okay? But yeah, I'll look more into him. Dusty Rhodes, very important part of this piece as well. Thank you for mentioning him. Yeah, he died on June 11th, right? That's Jurassic's big date. So, you know what, guys? I'm really looking at June 11th this year. The first video I did in this whole year was all about how June 11th could be a big event because it was tied to the Japanese earthquake on the very beginning of the year. So we must watch for June 11th, guys. And again, what's the chances that Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, dies on June 11th? So is the American Dream going to go down on June 11th? He was 69 years old. Interesting. So Dusty Rhodes dies on June 11th. If June 11th is like an upside down 9/11, that means the age he died at, 69, is symbolic of the reversal. The 6 and the 9 are the upside down, right? The yin and the yang, the upside down. So is our next event, 9/11, going to be the 6/11? I mean, it makes sense. It really does make sense. But is it just too obvious? You know? Yeah, I mean, something could happen on June 11th for sure this year. This year is a really big day for June 11th. So anyway, I got distracted, but I was going to get off. And thank you guys for adding that extra thing at the end. I appreciate that. So anyways, guys, take care and much love to you all. God bless. And I'll see you guys in a few days for the next video, maybe a part 2 to this video. Or if something else happens, I'll be sharing something, whatever else happens in the news. But anyway, take care and God bless. I'll see you in the next one.